Welcome to a nourishing midweek lunch hour conversation with Spokane's newsmakers, thought leaders, and popular entertainers. Spokane Talks Live is brought to you by our friends at Homes for You and Breakthrough Incorporated. Welcome to Spokane Talks Live.
Welcome to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams here. It's October 18th. Where has the month gone? We're past the midway point, which means we're close to Halloween. Yes, I don't have to dress up. I'm already set for Halloween. Hey, we've got a fun lineup today, some interesting things. Andy Dunau, who is running for the second position in the Spokane City Council, will be here to talk about his campaign and what's going on. Connor Thomas Simpson is here. What a long name. You know, it's like King or something like that. He's been around the country and, more importantly, around the world the last 10 months. I've got some pictures and some stories, I'm sure, right, Connor, to tell? Yeah, okay. We'll have that edit button handy just in case. No, Lisa Manning from the Lake Coeur d'Alene Waterkeepers is here to talk about an event coming up. Don Morgan from Independent Wealth Connections will be here to talk about all kinds of things investing. And Colin is calling the weather next on Spokane Talks Live.
Well, as you take a look at the forecast, it's kind of gloomy this week. A lot of rain across the region as that fall system starts to move in across the inland northwest. As you can see, rain each day, scattered showers on Friday, but other than that, rain for the most part up until about Sunday when we get our nicest day of the week in the region, 58 degrees and cloudy skies. If you're hoping to do any outdoor fall festivities, you're going to want to do that on Sunday. Otherwise, you're going to need to rummage around for the umbrella. So Sunday's going to be the nicest day to do that. Maybe you can head on up to Green Bluff and enjoy the pumpkin patches, but all of that outdoor fun you'll want to do on Sunday. Our daytime highs for the week ranging from the mid to upper 50s down to about 47 on Saturday. Even our overnight lows staying fairly warm and above freezing for the most part. We shouldn't see any frosty mornings this week. However, as we head on into next week, we're going to see a lot more frosty mornings and, yes, more rain.
For the Inland Northwest's most comprehensive sports report, think outside the porch with Spokesman.com. For just 99 cents for the first month, you'll enjoy unlimited digital access to the news and sports news that affect you most. From EWU to WSU, from Northwest Preps all the way to the Seahawks, we're the local authority that makes sports in the Inland Northwest different than the rest, better than the rest. On your phone, on your desktop, and on your tablet. Subscribe to the digital experience with Spokesman.com.
I'm Lexi Dyson. I am an archaeological technician for the Tahoe National Forest in California. Archaeology is perfect for me. It kind of combines all of my loves: history, my love of culture, my love of arts and science. As a girl, you don't really get told that science is for you. Like when you look on TV, you always see men in lab coats. I was a freshman at North Central. Randy James was one of my biggest cheerleaders. Randy was one of the first people who told me that you are good at this, you can do this. His favorite phrase that he would say to us that really stuck with me is, Yato, you are the ones. We're the ones who are going to make the difference. We're the ones who are going to make the change. You really start thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, we are. I am the one that's going to do this. The work we're doing in Tahoe definitely is going to be here for good. Our purpose here is to preserve things and to make them last, to be here for good, for those future generations to enjoy. I love the variety of it and being able to see things that nobody else really gets to see, and having that touch of history and connection to people in the past. I am helping people by preserving their own heritage, their own resources. One of the things I love about STCU is using the STCU mobile app, no matter where I go. It could be here in Tahoe National Forest, I could be back home, or it could be clear away across the country. I've been so impressed by their willingness to help and just be there where I need them to be, basically. It gives me a sense of home, even though I could be 3,000 miles away, 6,000 miles away, which I have done with STCU, and I've never looked back. I'm Lexi Dyson, and STCU is here for good.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams here, and I have someone I haven't seen for a while, Connor Thomas Simpson.
That's me.
Does everybody call you that?
No, most people just call me Connor.
Okay, well, yeah. The Thomas I know is after your dad.
That is
right?
true, yep.
Because we've had him recently because he's been in the country and in the state of confusion probably, but more often than you have. You have done a lot of things here in Spokane in the startup world and all of that, and web pages and web design and all of the IT stuff and so forth for a number of companies. And I want to get to that when we get back. But what interests me is what you've been doing for the last 10 months. You literally have been around the world and around the country. So talk about what. All of a sudden, I'm seeing on Facebook you're in Vietnam.
So yeah, I started out in Vietnam as an English teacher.
Yeah.
So I decided I had been in Spokane my whole life. Never really had the full college experience. I felt like I was in the point of my life where I wanted to get out and see a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I had a friend who left already and gotten a job teaching English down there. So I decided to.
And they said, "Come on."
They said, "Yep, hey, we're hiring right now." So I basically showed up on the day that your class started. So immediately kind of like gave me the syllabus, went in kind of blind and fumbled my way through it. But I started more or less thinking to myself, as I'm an improv teacher, it's like as long as I could, or improv actor, as long as I could make them laugh, then they were understanding enough of what I was saying where, that was good. So making a lot of jokes, a lot of hand gestures, a lot of pictures, a lot of playing, acting out things, role play. So, so started out in Vietnam and taught for probably about 4 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I got a kick out of watching. Was it your lunches or dinners? You would go to different places in Vietnam to eat, and so we watched everything you did.
So that was only sometimes. Well, one time it was completely by accident. I was walking around and I was in kind of a more rural area.
Okay.
So trying to find a restaurant. The rule of thumb is, find where people are eating. So I was looking around, trying to find where people are eating. So I see this group of about 15 people are eating. So I kind of wander in and I kind of like look around. There's no menus, but I kind of like do the hand gestures for, hey, can I eat? And so actually that's the guy that let me into his house right there.
Oh, funny.
So anyway, so he was like, oh no, sit down. So he pulls up a chair, starts putting food in front of me, and then I start looking around and realize this isn't a restaurant. This is just
a family.
This is someone's house. Yeah. So I get the gist of that because they don't speak any English, so I'm just using Google Translate on my phone. They're like, where are you from? Like, where are you from? What do you guys do here? So it turned out that they repaired motorbikes as a family, so that's why they had so many people there, and so they had kind of a bigger estate. But yeah, they just kept on filling up my plate. Kind of showed them pictures of Spokane. A lot of them never seen snow before. So around that time of year, it was snowing in Spokane, so they just loved seeing that. It was all just passing a phone through Google Translate at that one.
That's hilarious.
And then, around that time, it was like Tet holiday, too. So if you walk down the streets, which is their Chinese New Year, so if you walk down the street, people would be singing karaoke, and they'd invite you over to have some food. And
you sang?
Oh, yeah, of course. Okay. You got to sing.
So our relations with Vietnam have gone downhill?
No, they love my singing. They love my singing, especially when you did some of the, hit some of the harder chords.
Oh, I got to ask, what were the people like? Obviously, and to invite you in and to make you part of a family and a business, to have dinner and so forth is kind of fun. But what were the other people like as you work with your students, which I would assume many of them were adults too?
No, actually, I had high school students.
Oh, okay.
Mostly 16 years old.
Now, why are they learning English?
So that they can, if they want more or less, if foreigners come into Vietnam, a lot of them deal trade with English speakers.
Okay.
It's one of the most spoken languages in the world.
Right.
And more importantly, if they want to leave Vietnam, they're going to need English as kind of a gateway.
Okay. Yeah. Kind of the universal language.
Exactly.
At least in business and those kinds of things. Yeah.
Because Vietnamese isn't spoken all over the world where English is. So as long as they can speak English, I would tell them you can kind of travel around and get by in almost anywhere in the world. I only speak English, and I'm able to travel around the world and get by. Sometimes you had to use some hand gestures and pictures, but you get by with a little bit.
What were the people like, though?
I mean, like you said, very hospitable. I mean,
Yeah.
they have a very much more of a community vibe than I'd say we have in the United States.
Okay.
You know, like I said, walking down the street and people just invite you into their homes. That's
Wow.
not something that you'd necessarily see here.
Yeah.
So very friendly. You
Good.
know, always wanting to kind of like talk about their family and what their hobbies are. So
Yeah. What surprised you the most there?
surprised me the most.
Because it's a whole different culture than we're used to in kind of safe Spokane, isn't it?
I would almost say what surprised me the most is how similar everyone is. You know, when
Really?
you talk about, you know, when you take away some details of culture, everyone wants the same thing. Everyone, you know,
Right.
has a dream of, you know, being successful.
Yes.
Wanting to,
Providing
you know,
for their family.
Providing for their family, wanting to find love. You
Yeah,
know,
right,
and
right.
you more or less just be respected in their community. So I
Right,
feel like,
right.
you know, time after time, there was different avenues that my students would have, you know, to get there. But those were the main goals at the core of what, you
Yeah.
know, whatever they wanted to be and whatever they wanted to do.
Wow.
So,
How exciting. And then you went somewhere else after that, didn't you? You did a little mountain climbing?
yeah, I went over to Nepal.
A long walk.
Yeah, long walk,
And
14-day walk.
did you plan to do it that much?
No, not at all,
I
actually.
didn't think so.
So it was a buddy of mine who I subsequently went on this road trip around the United States
Right,
with. It
right.
really pushed me into it. I was thinking my semester had just ended at school, and his
Okay.
was going a little bit longer, and some of the other teachers went a little bit longer. The schools
Okay.
weren't all on the same schedule. And so I had about 2 weeks before my mom was getting married, before I could kind of like travel around a little bit. And he was
Right.
like, you know, there's a 2-week trek to Everest Base Camp. And I was like, well, I only have 2 weeks. And he's like, well, if you leave tonight, you can go and
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
So literally, he booked the flight for me, totally unprepared. He's giving me the backpack, and I'm like, well, I don't have any of the gear. And he said, well, there's a town once you get there called Kathmandu.
Yeah.
Really cheap stuff.
And you have plastic.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So there, it's all, you know, what they say, North fake. You know, it's not the real stuff. But you can get really cheap gear. So I got all my gloves, my hiking pants. I did have boots, and I had a boot and a jacket, and that's about all I really had. Everything else I picked up at this market for pretty good. And I met the guy at the airport. I was like, what are you here, you know, for? And I said, you know, I'm going to do the Everest Base Camp trekking. He's like, when do you want to get it done by? Well, I need to get done by this day. And so
Yeah.
I said, well, 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. You're getting on the mountain. You have the rest of the day to go buy all your things. He kind of gave me a checklist.
Talk
of what I
about jumping
needed.
from the pan into the fire, right?
Exactly, yeah. So that was, totally spur of the moment. But it
Now,
was.
how far did you go? Because it looked like you made it up to one of the base camps or something.
Yeah, so it's about 6,000 meters. I forget what the conversion into feet
Yeah.
is. And I don't know it by
you don't
distance.
have your phone?
Yeah, I don't
No,
know.
I'm kidding.
I haven't memorized it, so
Yeah.
I need to do that.
But what did you discover there?
You know, it was a lot of alone time because I did it alone. So I had a guide with me
Okay.
that, you know, walked me along the ways.
That
and
took
showed
you
me
up
where I
and
was-
back?
Exactly.
Okay.
But it was a lot of time to just think about things, and obviously it was pretty difficult physically. I wasn't, you know, the most in shape guy in the entire world.
Yeah, you
Was not
hadn't
planning
prepared
to
for
do
that,
this.
had you?
Was not training to do this. But once I kind of got up there, I realized more or less that I was going to be alive for a really long time. A lot of the little details of things that maybe I'd been worrying about getting up the trail, you know.
Yeah.
You know, am I strong enough? You know, am I going to have enough water? You know,
Yeah.
am I going to get sick? You know, altitude sickness is a
Yes,
big
yes.
thing. You know, you just kind of take those things in stride, and as long as you keep on kind of powering through and not try and overexert yourself, not underexert yourself, just
Or
kind of like slow and
over-worry,
steady.
even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I once I reached the top, I kind of realized that physically I'm going to stay alive for a really long time. So it
Okay.
would take a lot for me to go down. So I might as well put all these little worries aside and focus on just bigger goals. And so that's kind of where I decided to. That was my goal at the time, so I set more goals of kind of when I was coming back and what I was going to do the rest of my travels, and so
Then you came back for your mom's wedding.
exactly.
Okay, and then what did you do?
So then I went actually back to Southeast Asia, and then for this time I just traveled around. So I went through Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, and just kind of island hopped, just kind of saw different cultures, tried different foods.
Yeah.
And so I did that for about 3 months, and all
Now,
the while.
did you ever get sick or anything? The food ever bother you?
I got sick my first week of being in Vietnam.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a change of food and
exactly.
everything else, water, you name it.
So I was out for probably about two days or so,
Yeah.
but then I never got sick again.
Oh,
So,
okay,
yeah.
good.
It was
Yeah, I always worry about that because you're much younger, but I worry about things like that as you get older because we're more susceptible to it.
Oh, you'd be fine.
Yeah, okay.
There are people your age doing the Everest Base Camp trek too. You know,
Right, right.
Some of them even beating me, I'd say.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, but they've prepared for
Yeah,
it, too.
that's true,
you know?
that's true.
Okay, so you go do and you see all that, and then you come back right?
Yeah,
No.
to the United States.
Okay.
And so during that time, I had been deciding that my next thing I was going to do was buy a van and travel around the entire United States in the back of a van with my buddy of mine that I had met while traveling, who's another teacher from Britain. And so I literally just got back 2 days ago from that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think when I saw you back is when I sent you an email. And
Exactly,
said, yeah, come on. Yeah. So you are just literally back.
Yeah.
But there's probably clothes still in the washing machine,
exactly.
ready to go in the dryer, right?
Unfortunately, I didn't make it all the way back. My cat got sick, and so he needed some emergency care and attention.
Okay.
So I came back.
He's better now?
He's still, I should be getting him back from the hospital today, so he had
Lord.
some sort of an infection that needed some surgery, and so he's been healing up for the last week. So I wasn't planning on being back, so actually I only have about 2 outfits. This is one of them right now. I need to go to the thrift store and pick up a new wardrobe. So I'm kind of pulling things back, but I already had a few job opportunities here in Spokane.
Talk about that, because you and another friend, an associate you've worked with, are starting a new company, right?
Yeah.
What's that all about?
It's called Weddings by Owner, and so I'm starting that with Jordan Allen.
Okay.
And so what that is it allows people with a larger property to list their space as a wedding venue, and allows couples who are getting married to find more unique, smaller venues that's kind of more in a do-it-yourself kind of vibe.
Instead of some of the big commercial places that you look at.
It's a backyard wedding.
Yeah. And there's a lot of interest for that, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
And then we lost a place over in Coeur d'Alene, burned down.
Was that the hitching post?
Not the hitching post, but it was a farm area that people have held weddings in and everything else, and the thing just blew up with flames and burned down.
Oh, really?
Right as the wedding season this summer was finishing up in August or whatever. So, yeah. But people, I think, do today want to do more than just the church wedding or dinner at Olive Garden, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a more intimate setting.
Yeah, something a little, and some of those are fun to do. Some of those can be expensive to do too.
Yep.
And so as you start a life together and so forth, I think you want to, save some of those dollars.
Exactly.
And so forth. Yeah.
New house and whatnot. Yeah, so we got so much lakefront property, around here in Spokane.
Yes.
So hopefully next wedding season, a lot of those properties open up, and give landowners a good way to extra.
And then you're doing some
money.
consulting with others in town and so forth.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, Limelight Technology Group.
Limelight. Okay, what do they do?
So they do development for like a lot of back-end development for local companies and companies around the nation right now. So one of my close friends, Michael, he's actually in Virginia doing some work with a background company.
So now, are you going to be back on the road once your cat's home? And go
unfortunately,
collect
by the time that I would have been back, I need to start work. So it's looking like I'm going to have to end my travels a little earlier, but it's okay.
You have to go back to work. I feel so sorry for you. Is anyone believing that? No, I didn't think so. Well, that's fun.
No, it's good to be back.
What a nice trip. We've had your dad in a couple times with Startup Spokane and so forth, and now it's good to see the kid back, and it's good to see you back working though too.
Exactly.
Yeah, good. Well, Connor, welcome back to Spokane, and
thank you so
much.
much.
I hope your cat is going to be. What's his name?
Thank you. Noah.
Noah
is his name. Yes.
Okay. Well, I hope he gets okay and is home and safe, because our animals are important.
Yeah, they're part of the family for sure.
Absolutely. We've got 2 indoor cats, and then half the neighborhood cats visit. In fact, my wife even has a heater on a chair out front for the neighborhood cats.
Oh, that's amazing.
As we go into the winter. So, yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks. Good to see you. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Perfect.
Proposition 2 is not about politics. It's about protecting Spokane's economy.
I'm opposed to Proposition 2.
I'm opposed to Prop 2.
I'm opposed to Proposition 2.
Proposition 2 just doesn't make sense.
I am opposing Proposition 2.
I'm against Proposition 2.
I'm opposed to Proposition 2.
I'm opposed to Prop 2 because we have to protect Spokane's economy.
Welcome to Tom Sawyer Country Coffee.
Tom Sawyer Country Coffee only roasts the finest organic coffee for our signature blends. Enjoy a cup at our coffee shop and local businesses and organizations across the region.
I'm Tom Sawyer, and we choose the Pacific Northwest.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy. Enough to power more than 4,000 homes for an entire year. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy. Enough to power more than 4,000 homes for an entire year. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
To find the right home for you, you'll work with your realtor to compare the properties you're interested in, analyze the market, and figure out a reasonable offer price. And now, here you are, ready to make an offer. Yay, you! Here's how it works. First, you'll complete an offer sheet which your realtor will then present to the owner. Sometimes, a nice note to the owner can help your offer stand out. Butter them up. Tell them how much you love their garden, that it reminds you of gardening with your grandmother as a child. Do not mention you're gonna bulldoze it and put in a pool. The owner may accept the offer, reject it, or counter. It's important to be in close contact with your realtor during the negotiation process so any changes can be reviewed. Your realtor is like your consigliere, and that makes you the Don. Once your offer is finally accepted, there are usually some contingencies that must be met in order to keep the contract alive. Inspections are totally common in real estate transactions. They include termite checks, surveys to determine boundaries, appraisals to determine value for lenders, title reviews, and structural inspections. This stuff is mind-numbingly fascinating. But you know what's even more fascinating? Actually getting your new house.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live, and good to have Andy Dunau here. And Andy, you're running for some office in Spokane, Washington, aren't you?
Yeah, District 2, South Side.
My district.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask whether you're going to support me or not. We don't have that type of radio show, but yeah, 3 weeks to go.
I'm
there you go. Did you hear that, folks? If Kent's good with it, the rest of you ought to be good with it.
There go half your votes.
That's exactly right. We got 3 weeks to go, Kent, and I am punch drunk already.
I'll bet. Are you having fun?
We are having fun. Last night I got to go down and do a candidate forum at the East Central Community Center, and then we did the first spokesman review debate.
Yes.
And that was absolutely terrific. You can go see it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Brian and I gave a very lively, spirited debate, so you got your money's worth if you go up to
Okay, I'm going to have to watch that now. I saw some of the pictures this morning and so forth. I guess I've got several things going through my mind. And I'm happy to endorse you because we've worked together way
back in the day.
In the past, and I know your accountability, I know your thinking, I know your follow through, and all that. And we did some
good
quite
stuff
unique
in
things back in those days. We won't talk about how many decades ago that was.
No.
But
I had hair.
Huh?
I had hair.
Yeah, I don't think mine was gray, was it?
No.
Okay. No. Hey, I spray mine gray every week, so
There
I
you
look
go.
distinguished.
Good job.
The biggest thing that concerns me is some of the leaning of the current council, which is really a 6-1 vote.
Right.
And honestly, if you look at some of the appointments over the last couple of years and replacing some business people with non-business people and all of that, and you look at what the council has done recently, and I think a lot in terms of Ben, the rocks, no rocks, sorry I did it. I don't know how many things he's pulled back. You know what I mean?
So,
it's like, okay, is it because it's how the wind is blowing or what?
Well, it is how the wind is blowing.
Yeah.
But, you know, the thrust of what I've been talking about, which, you know, when the Spokesman Review endorsed us last Saturday.
Yeah, that was terrific,
That
wasn't
was
it?
terrific. And I really appreciate the newspaper not just endorsing me, but they really sort of captured the essence of the campaign.
Yes, they did. I
Which
thought
is
it was
really to
well
bring
written.
balance back to City Council. We are the candidate in the race which has the bipartisan support of
Yes.
both Democrats and Republicans
Yes.
out there. And it's really a philosophy of fiscal conservatism matched with common sense, pragmatic thinking, where we're looking at taxation and regulation as the very last levers you pull, not the first levers you
And
pull.
then when used efficiently.
And effectively.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the things I keep talking to folks about, I don't care if it's Riverfront Park or hiring of new police officers,
Right.
is if you're going to spend more money, what are the metrics? People deserve to know they got what they bought. And
Right.
that seems to me to be a missing element in what we're getting out of the current council.
I made a comment the other day based on the new snow plan for this year, and it fits a lot of what I've been saying the last year or so, and that is, okay, they now have this plan. It's like the potholes. They know potholes come, they know snow comes, and now they finally figured this out.
Right.
Where is some strategic planning and thinking going on? And you're good at that because you really take things apart and analyze them.
Right. So with part of my focus on local issues is really to do the oversight part of City Council.
Yeah.
Now, we can argue back and forth, but my belief is that as City Council has gotten distracted with political statements on other issues, they are not doing the basic oversight piece.
Yeah.
So really
Well-
pushing people, you know, streets is a perfect example.
Yeah.
So what are the metrics that we're using for which materials, which standards, and the rest of it? I'm not here to beat city staff up. I
No,
think there
no.
are lots of good city staff
Right,
out there.
right.
I just want to ask the questions I'm getting asked at door knocking.
Yeah.
And then I want to get that information and either say, can we do better? Or if in fact it's all brilliantly being done, I'll go out to the neighborhoods and say, you know what?
This is what we can do.
This
and
is this
Yeah.
is it.
Yeah.
But we're sort of telling people spending more means we're doing better.
Yeah. Well, and you look at like the potholes and some of the issues, and I keep hearing this a lot, and you probably have knocking on doors that, you know, other cities around the country that have winters like we do, and even worse,
Right.
don't seem to have the caverns in the middle of the street.
No, I've heard from people
What are
from
they doing that we're
North
not doing?
Dakota, Chicago, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
They're like, Andy, I come from this type of weather.
Yeah.
We don't have these problems.
Yeah.
So there's something going on. And you got to remember, we started in 2004 with a $117 million bond. So it's not as though we haven't had over 10 years of investment.
Yes,
Right?
yeah,
So we really just need to take a look at it and get honest with it. And things like the rocks underneath the freeway are a good example to me because in our KSBS debate, I was a little shocked. I gave Brian an opportunity to express regret, which I give Council President Stucker credit for, because he was open about it. He says, you know what? It was for the homeless. I got it wrong. My bad. Okay?
Yeah, but he's done that several times
But-
on several issues.
Correct. But in Brian's world, he came out and said, you know, it really didn't have anything to do with the homeless anyway. And he made up this entire story, not made up, but he said, no, it was really about a security issue with teachers and kids at LC being accosted, and it fits into our long-term plan for putting basalt around Division and up and down Maple. And I'm just sort of looking at him going,
What story is it then?
What story is it? You can't even get on the same page as Ben.
Yeah.
So I think that frustrates people.
Yes,
I
yes.
really do. Maybe he believes it, but it's an inability to say when you got something wrong.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, as a small business owner for 30 years, right,
Yeah.
there are days I've gotten it wrong. and I go to the client.
No, I can't believe
even
that.
when I worked with you, there were a couple of moments.
Haven't we all?
Right,
though?
that's
Okay.
the point. And you go back to the...
But you own up to it.
You own up to it. You go back to the client and you say, I need to make this right.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to figure out what to do here. It wasn't a good call
but
for
you
whatever.
learn from it.
But you learn from it and you move on.
Yeah.
But I really don't see with this 6-1 majority, and I saw it at the spokesman debate across the candidates yesterday, they don't like to say anything's wrong.
Right.
They don't like to say, gee, we need a redo.
Yeah.
Right? Monroe Street
they're after
Diet's another
world
one.
peace or something rather than Spokane
Well,
city
it's
issues.
to me, it's really hard to lead a city if everything you do is correct. Right?
Right. One last issue, and that's Prop 2.
Yes, sir.
That worries me a lot, okay, of the impact, not so much if it passes in terms of the implementation, because I think it's going to be found unconstitutional, but the cost of fighting that is the first step.
I got my first metric on that yesterday. Somebody passed along an article. So in the city of Seattle, where they adopted an income tax, which is being challenged, which has its own state constitutional issues with it.
Right.
The city council already put aside $250,000 to defend themselves in that lawsuit. So you're starting to see that, this is not going to be a cheap exercise.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And while that exercise is going on,
$250,000 is a down payment.
Exactly. And while that exercise is going on, rail safety isn't being improved.
Right.
So my thing is, look, we actually do want to improve rail safety.
Yeah, always.
And there are things we can do with our federal elected officials to bring exposure to that and to bring pressure to that. Let's go do it and get it right.
More track inspections.
All that type of stuff, right? And stabilizing the oil and the rest of it.
Right.
But, this notion, which keeps getting replayed out there, don't worry, maybe it's a one-day hearing and then we'll be on to the next thing.
There's never a one-day hearing.
Has anybody in the history of working with lawyers, gone down that road?
Yeah.
So this is, if it passes, it's going to be a very expensive task.
What are you hearing from people as you talk door to door and so forth?
The number one issue on people's minds, without any question, is streets. And I would say followed by that is sort of traffic and property crime.
Okay.
Now, when I came down here today, I must have left my door unlocked on my car because somebody had rifled through the whole car.
Really?
So, I'm on the South Hill, folks. Yeah. Property crime is real.
Yeah. And property crime leads to other things.
Absolutely.
It's a starting point.
Absolutely.
And I think there are some folks out there, I would say, on the way liberal side is, we'll spank their hand and we'll give everything will be okay. It's the start. I mean, you saw it downtown when people are stealing cars with people in it.
Right.
Carjacking.
Right.
I mean, that becomes another step. Yeah.
Well, so, and they're talking about hiring 10 more police officers, which I support. But again, they're saying, well, we're going to reduce response time or reduce overtime. And I'm like, no, I need more detail than that.
Yeah.
Are we hitting the hot spots?
Right.
What are we doing? What's the metric? Again, a year from now, when I look at those 10 new police officers, what am I looking at to know that we got value for our dollar?
Exactly.
Right?
What you might approach it like a business person or a family in terms of you get a return on your investment?
It's the same thing I did on the park board when we tightened up those budgets and managed to get through the Great Recession without increasing fees.
Yeah, great. Andy, best of luck for
you.
Hey,
thank you.
When my ballot arrives in the next couple of days, you'll be one of the first I go to the market.
Well,
and I'm not afraid to say that.
And regardless of who you vote for, it is your civic duty to vote.
It is. It really is. And we've had absolutely, which is a chance for a plug on our Meet the Candidate and our candidate confidentials that we've done. Since Friday, we've had over 13,000 views.
That's great. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Blew me out when I added up the numbers last night. And then we've added some more Meet the Candidate videos just today. So we wanted to get everything up and going before the ballots arrive, which I think they get mailed today, don't they?
Yeah. Today and tomorrow. So they should be in your mailbox by Friday or Saturday at the latest.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if you're on the south side, you'll be getting a mailer from us Friday or Saturday.
All right.
What
a surprise.
There you go.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Andy. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Thank you, Ken.
Today, I will spark an idea.
Today, I'll help a student uncover the mysteries of DNA.
Today, I will nurture creativity.
Today, I'll help someone figure it out.
Today, I will protect our future by digging into the past.
Today, I will build a business that makes learning fun.
How will the future look?
What will we discover?
Invent.
Create.
Will we find ways to revive our planet?
Develop meaningful, high-paying jobs.
When most of those jobs don't even exist yet.
It'll happen because
We'll be the ones to invent those jobs.
It starts with better skills in math and science.
Engineering,
Technology.
And the arts.
It takes a willingness to try.
And fail.
and try again.
Because great things never happen on the first try.
Some communities are defined by geography.
Ours is defined by a vision
that encourages everyone
to develop a passion for learning.
It happens when high school freshmen learn college-level science.
When a teacher learns robotics.
When ideas are sparked with play.
By providing the tools to tinker.
And the space to create.
And our future gets better when we learn from our past.
I'm Randy.
I'm Mike.
I'm Brooke.
I'm Lexi.
She's Barb.
He's Marty.
We're all connected by a credit union
that's invested in our community
for over 80 years.
Supporting teaching, learning,
and creating.
To make sure your future
and mine
are here for good.
SDCU, here for good.
Snoring can disrupt marriages and cause serious health problems. Call Sleep Better Northwest first, the experts in dental sleep medicine. Their medically approved, custom-fit oral appliances will have both you and your partner sleeping better and being more productive throughout your day. Don't wait. Snoring and sleep apnea can signal potential strokes or heart attacks. For more information, visit needbettersleepnow.com and download our health guide today. Sleep Better Northwest, the experts in dental sleep medicine.
Is your child having trouble coping with a personal disability, but don't know where to go? Consider our friends at Breakthrough Incorporated. Breakthrough takes great pride in mentoring their DDA clients who have intellectual disabilities and their BRS clients who have challenging behaviors toward the creation of safe, appropriate, ethically sound life goals. They integrate programs at school and home to enrich their lives. They work hard to make a positive difference in you and your family's lives. Breakthrough provides a highly structured, fully staffed residential setting in local neighborhoods, 6 in Spokane and 2 in the Tri-Cities. Diagnoses affect people differently, so their service to each resident is unique, giving them the opportunity to grow and evolve. For more information on Breakthrough, visit their website at breakthroughincorporated.org.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. Hope you're having a good day. It's October 18th. I still am amazed we're that far into October, isn't it?
Really?
And we're going to talk about November 2nd. That's like, November seems like it's so far away, but it isn't. It's 3 weeks away.
I know.
Yeah. Lisa Manning, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Ken. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. You're talking about the Lake Coeur d'Alene Waterkeeper presents Wild and Scenic Film Festival coming up on November 2nd.
November 2nd.
Now talk about what it's going to be, where it's going to be, how people can get there, all of that good information, because this kind of sounds. I was looking at one of the pictures that you had on some material here, and wow, this is. And you said that's one of the films.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a Wild and Scenic Film Festival, and our co-host is North Idaho College.
Okay.
And there are 10 short documentary films.
Oh, okay.
And that will begin at 7, but doors open at 10.
Okay.
We will have a raffle and sponsor tables throughout the lobby when you first walk into Boswell Hall, and then the films will start at 7 to 9.
Right.
And that is in the Schuler Performing Arts Center.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful auditorium.
It is, and we feel very grateful that North Idaho College has been so supportive of the Lake Coeur d'Alene Waterkeeper program, which is a
I was going to say, explain what that is.
Thank you.
Because that's the base of bringing this to town and so forth, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Kootenai Environmental Alliance is our parent organization.
Okay.
They're our 501c3. And the Lake Coeur d'Alene Waterkeeper program is one of 7 of their programs.
Okay.
And the Lake Coeur d'Alene Waterkeeper program has this main fundraiser of the year. And this is our first Wild and Scenic Film Festival.
Okay.
We've learned quite a bit from the Spokane Riverkeeper Film Festival, which just celebrated their 3rd year. So lots to learn, very exciting. We have
and it's more than just
major
fundraising, isn't it? It's a chance to tell the stories. for people to see these films and learn something,
Thank
right?
you. I appreciate you asking that, Kent, because it is beyond just the films. Not only the stories that these documentary films project,
right,
but they're all quite diverse. They have different messages, different educational components, and the exciting news is all of the North Idaho students that attend are getting credit for this work through their departments.
Oh, fun.
And they are free with their student ID.
Okay.
And then non-NIC students are $5, and then general admission is $10.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Now, is this a family thing? That people
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Even though it starts in the evening, it will
yeah, but you didn't.
not be too
it
late.
wasn't going to go too late.
No.
You know, and
No.
November 2nd was what? A
Thursday evening.
Thursday evening. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let me also
so the kids
share.
can sleep in the next day. It's Friday. They don't have to go to school anyway.
Well, actually, we're going to get them up. We're going to rouse them for a 9 o'clock program. Let me tell you a little bit about, if I may, the keynote speakers.
Okay.
Mark Titus is a documentary filmmaker who produced The Breach, which is a documentary film on the king salmon, the wild salmon in Bristol Bay, and their threats there due to the Pebble Mine. And it's a 89-minute movie film that we're showing the next day.
Okay.
And people will have an opportunity to get a taste of that Thursday evening.
Right.
We'll show the trailer at the beginning of the film festival.
Okay. So you're going to whet their appetite.
We are.
Okay.
We are. And then,
pun intended. Waterkeepers whet your appetite. Okay.
Very funny.
I know.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very little humor. Yes.
So what's important is that you'll get a chance on Thursday evening to excite people about Friday, which is from 9 to noon. It's a free event on North Idaho College.
Oh, fun.
And that is an opportunity to really have a question and answer period with the documentary filmmaker. But Thursday evening, going back to our keynote speakers, the other very exciting keynote is Peter Grubb, who is the founder of Row Adventures.
Okay.
And
okay. Yes.
he will be talking about.
I was going to say I've heard the name before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He will be talking about conservation and really what pieces of these films that people can really draw from.
Right.
They're quite diverse. Some have different messages. Some are more entertaining and recreational.
Right.
Some are very informative in terms of what people are doing around the world. It's fascinating.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, now something just happened recently in Coeur d'Alene with the city council. Is that it, or the mayor?
Yes, thank you.
What happened?
Thank you very much. Well, I'm going to read this so
They
I
anointed
get the
you
language.
as queen?
Well, no.
Okay.
It's not. It's really the city and all of the supporters of the Waterkeeper work and water. Kootenai Environmental Alliance has been a tremendous advocate for all of the work on the water, and we're just a small part of that. But the city of Coeur d'Alene supports the Lake Coeur d'Alene Waterkeeper program, which supports our communities and natural resources on and around the lake. The city proclaimed November 2nd and 3rd as the Lake Coeur d'Alene Waterkeeper Days.
Okay.
So this is a celebration, a recognition that people can rally around those 2 days.
Okay, to get more information, where can people go? You must have a website, Facebook, or something.
Yes, thank you. We want people to visit kealliance.org. That's KEALLIANCE.org.
Right.
And you can get tickets on that site. You go to Waterkeeper.
Okay.
And we have a poster that we're distributing, and will also be on our website, all of that information as well. People can purchase tickets either at the door or online.
Okay, one more time, the website is?
KEALliance.org.
All right.
And then this poster, I do want to celebrate all our sponsors.
Right.
Patagonia, Cliff Bar, Sierra Nevada, Earth Justice, Clean Canteen, and Barefoot are the major sponsors of this event through Wild and Scenic Film Festival. But then Row Adventures, the North Idaho Flycasters, Daft, Badger Brewing are our top tier, and
I'll
we have
drink to
many,
that.
many others.
Yeah,
many,
great.
many others.
Thank you. Good to
So,
see you again.
thank you
all
so
right,
much,
this
Ken.
is going to be fun, and I hope
I
you
look
have a
forward to
great
seeing you.
turnout. Okay,
appreciate
we're going
it.
to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
They say it takes a community to raise a family. It also takes one to build a business. I came to Spokane 12 years ago as a Whitworth student, and I planned to leave after graduation. But the more I got to know this community, the more I wanted to become a part of it. My husband and I have built our business in Spokane, and now we're raising our family here too. We operate a consulting company that provides creative business development strategies. Our approach is holistic and dependent on intentional connections and relationships. And no one understands connections and relationships better than GSI. They direct momentum towards investments in our community, provide resources that help business leaders connect, and they're dedicated and passionate about making Spokane great. GSI gives me the confidence to build my business here because they believe every organization, even a small one like mine, adds big value to our community. With GSI's help, Spokane will be a place my son will want to build his career too. I'm Eva Marquette, owner of Freshview. We're creating something greater with Greater Spokane Incorporated.
Hi, this is Kurt Stockwell with Well Dressed Walrus. We are a local website design and development company here in Spokane. What we do is build beautiful, usable websites for local businesses. A website needs to be beautiful, it needs to be usable for your users, your customers, and yourself. Contact us anytime. We'd love to talk with you about your online marketing.
Well, welcome back to Spokane Talks Live, and I just asked our producer what the temperature was, and he turned around and looked at our thermometer that is Weather Underground, I think, and he said, it says 80. So I'm guessing it's not 80 out there. You know, I've come across that a couple of times, probably twice in the last couple of months.
He's got Miami dialed in.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, he's got his wish list dialed in, not Spokane. Hey, Don Morgan. Haven't seen you for a couple weeks.
This whole working for a living, you
know.
Are
you letting that get in the way again?
It's a four-letter word, but it does happen.
Yeah, good. And I saw this morning you were out at the what is the name of the restaurant?
Skyway Cafe at Feltz Field.
Yeah,
phenomenal place.
Yeah, great food, great ambiance, as you mentioned during the commercial. But you were out there because you were also involved in something else.
Yeah, I am. I'm a volunteer with the local Civil Air Patrol Squadron.
Right.
And I was actually meeting with our recruiting and retention officer.
Ah, okay.
And
and you just had to meet at the airport.
Well, of course we did.
Yeah.
He's a long-time pilot. He's got a couple of planes of his own, part of the Experimental Aircraft Association out there and the Washington Pilots Association. And we enjoyed not only the breakfast, but the flight traffic there. 7 o'clock in the morning.
Busy.
I should hope to shout.
Yeah.
And in his opinion, as a pilot, it's one of the best examples of general aviation in the country.
Yeah.
It really is an incredible airport.
It's a great spot, too. I mean, the
really food is awesome.
The food, and that's breakfast and lunch.
Yes.
They don't do dinners.
I don't think so.
No. All right, we're not here to talk about all that. We're going to talk about flying and everything else. Let's fly into talking about cybersecurity and
physical
keeping
security.
Safe these days.
So it really comes down to this. The rest of the world doesn't care. You have to care about yourself.
Yeah.
You have to care about your physical security, your cyber security, and your electronic and financial persona.
Right.
There are bad people who are regularly trying to steal your credit card data, your checking account data, your social security and date of birth, so that they can create an account at a bank and borrow money in your name. Now, by the way, if they do that, that's fraud, and you're not liable.
Okay.
But it's a mess for you.
Yeah.
And it's a mess for your bank, and we're seeing more and more and more of this. So you have to start asking yourself, what are some steps I can do to protect myself?
Yes, okay.
And yes, you can pay $10 or $20 or $30 a month for online companies that will take your money.
Right.
But I got to tell you, the real protection is going to come from you understanding what the bad guys do and how you protect yourself.
You know, we had Kirsten Davis on from the Better Business Bureau
Yep.
a couple of weeks ago, and maybe it was last week, and she reminded, one of the things she said is to turn off your, can't turn off your laptop at night.
Yes.
Because even though you're not there and you think it's safe, people can still access, and I had not thought about that.
And encrypt
so
your
some
hard drive.
simple things like that.
Well, you wouldn't think about driving without seatbelts today.
No.
So why would
But
you
I
think
see people
about
doing it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But so here's some basics,
Yeah.
some real basics. Number one, make sure your home Wi-Fi is encrypted and secured.
Okay.
Make sure your computers are encrypted. Turn them off regularly and
Yes.
update all of your security
Yes.
software regularly.
Yes.
Using an old browser because it's like an old shoe.
Yeah. It's vulnerable.
It's hugely vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Update your software. I know no one likes the updates. It's necessary. Create a separate email just for your financial world.
Ah, that's a good idea.
And make it something obscure.
Okay.
Not something that has your name or your address or anything about you.
Ah, okay.
And only use it for your checking, your savings, your credit card accounts, your mortgage.
It's very unlikely someone's going to guess it because it's not using your name or part of your name.
And unless they hack into your financial institution, they're not going to find it anywhere. So you're not going to sign up for anything with that email.
Okay.
Okay, and use a good rock solid email service. You want it secure.
Okay.
Gmail's good. Hotmail's good.
Okay.
Some of the other ones I'm not as sure about.
Yeah.
The next thing is go to your credit cards, your bank accounts, and set alert levels. Anything
Yes.
under $1.
Yes.
Anything over whatever your normal spend is.
Right, right.
So I looked yesterday at my email and I did a double take and I saw that my credit card had been used at the gas station.
Yes.
Well, I hadn't done that. So I went out in the
So
living
was
room
it
and I
your
said,
wife or one of your kids?
It was my wife. I said, honey, did you? And she says, no, because we have a joint credit card.
But it's a good chance to ask the question. Yeah.
And if you study what bad guys who steal credit cards
Yes.
do, they go to gas stations, they go to
Yes.
convenience stores, they go to big box stores to
Right.
buy Xboxes and computers. So you want to have those alerts set so you know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But don't forget physical security.
Okay.
Don't carry all your credit cards if you have
Yes.
more than one.
Right. Good point. Good
Keep
point.
them locked up. If you don't have a bank safe box, have a good safe at home.
Right, right.
If you have a safe at home, have an inventory written down of everything in there somewhere else. So when they
Yeah.
steal your safe.
Yeah, one of your kids or someplace, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then finally, just be aware.
Okay.
Just like walking down a dark street.
Yeah.
Know what's going on.
Know your surroundings.
I don't like cash.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. It disappears. I have no clue where cash goes. So
Yeah.
I generally put everything on my credit card.
Right, right. I
But
think most of us do that today.
it's when I'm traveling or if I'm going to be making little purchases, I keep a $20 bill
Right.
for the little stuff.
Right, right, right.
Why give? I don't want to sound like teenagers are bad people, but why give a teenager your credit card and hope that they're going to be honest?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So does all that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris Hardis, who you know has been one of our interns here and so forth, went to a restaurant and he was explaining to me that he questioned the restaurant and then a couple hours later really questioned the restaurant because his card was being used for other things.
Yeah.
And so it was a good point. And of course he got it back, but still he canceled a meeting coming here because he had to go to the bank and spend chase an hour or two figuring this all out.
Correct.
And so if we spend a little prevention time, we don't have to do, theoretically, we wouldn't have to do much of that.
That's right.
Ever. Good.
The last thing I'd say is this: lock your credit report.
Okay, yes.
You know,
yes, my wife and I did that the other day.
And it's not that big a deal.
No.
But now no one can steal your identity from the credit bureau.
Right, right. I found it interesting. Someone on Equifax had, mine was vulnerable, my wife's wasn't. So, but we froze both.
Froze
so,
both.
Yeah. So, if people want more information or just to sit down and chat with you about good things, how do they reach you?
Couple things. We're going to do a class on this next Thursday.
Oh,
so
okay.
if you'd like to call and reserve a spot.
So that would be next week, the 26th?
Correct.
Okay.
931-1088 in the 509 or
Okay.
independentwealthconnections.com.
All right. Sounds to me like it would be worth attending.
I'm going to be there.
Well, yeah. All right, Don, thanks. Good to see you after a couple weeks of flying around and being everywhere. And in working.
Work.
Yeah, I know.
Work.
All right. Hey, thanks for watching Spokane Talks Live today. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you next week. Next week, we've got Todd Milkey from the JSI, who's going to talk about all kinds of things. And the editor of the Cheney Free Press are two of our guests next week. See you then.
Spokane Talks Live is produced in Spokane, Washington by Spokane Talks Online, LLC, which is solely responsible for its content. To recommend a guest or topic, or to see this program again, please visit our website, SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Spokane Talks Live is brought to you by our friends at Homes for You and Breakthrough Incorporated. Join us next Wednesday, noon, for another nourishing conversation on Spokane Talks Live.